Now let's do a little sequence of mostly doing things from hands and knees. So let's get into that position. Bring your hands to your mat, shoulder width apart, and spread the fingers wide. And let's actually take a moment about the hands because we tend to do a lot of things on the arms in yoga. And it's really important to start awakening a sense of strength on the hands and forearms and good alignment. So then we can do more things and stay for longer there without creating any injuries. A lot of times we are really tight on the hands from doing all the manual work that we do, and so I wouldn't be surprised if some of these positions are like, whoa, that is a big stretch or a big demanding thing for the hands. But try to keep insisting on extending the fingers or using those hands very smartly, so then you don't have any issues with your wrists. Okay, so think of having your index finger pointing straight forward and spread the rest of the fingers wide away from them. So your thumbs are reaching towards the midline and your pinkies are reaching out. Yeah, so that is a pretty open palm, right? So extend the fingers, lower all the knuckles, and press the floor with those fingertips to almost like you're, starting to want to squeeze the floor, but don't, right? So the knuckles stay down. And then sit up your shoulders right on top of your wrists and have those upper arms rotating externally. So meaning the inner elbows face a little more forward and slide the shoulder blades away from your ears. So we're going to set that up. Shoulders right on top of the wrist, the hands active, and have the knees right under your pelvis. You can either have your toes tucked or the tops of the feet on the floor. And we're going to come into cat and cow, extension and flexion of the spine. As you take the next inhale, think of opening the front of your body. We're going to try to lift the chin and lift the stomachs up as we slide the shoulder blades away from the ears. That is extending the spine, and you're going to feel a little bit of a stretch in the front. Exhale, let's push the floor with your hips, with your glutes, engage them and point the tail to the floor. Draw the belly in towards the end of that exhale. Slide the shoulder blades away from your spine and relax the head. So let's go through those 2 points a couple more times. Inhaling, open the front. Exhaling, round in the spine. Keeping those arms strong, pushing the floor. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, rounding. This can be a nice movement also for the organs. As you extend, you get a nice stretch on those intestines and your belly muscles. And as you exhale and you flex, you give them a nice compression. Use your breath and start the movements from your breathing. Let's do another one. Inhaling, opening the front. Exhaling, rounding the spine. Take an inhale, come into more or less of a medium place of that, right? Like a neutral, flat back. And bring your big toes to touch. Your knees can be hip width apart or a little wider. And let's come into child's pose. Bring the hips back. Bring the forearms to the floor for a moment. Notice how that feels, right? Reaching back, it could be a big stretch. And then maybe you can extend the arms forward and bringing the forehead to the floor. If your forehead doesn't reach the floor, you can set up a block or a blanket or the bolster or a pillow to have the head supported and so it doesn't feel like it doesn't have an end, right? And you can release those neck muscles. Take a moment to pay attention to the breath in that shape and notice how it feels different. You can access different areas, right? Maybe you notice more of the expansion on the lower back and the back ribs. Feel also the quality of this pose, how it makes you feel, a sense of protecting your front body, right? And not having to face the world and you are more introspective. Could be a nice pose when you're exhausted, tired. Can prop it nicely with pillows and have 5 breaths or so in that shape. But right now, let's come back up into hands and knees and work on more of a core alignment and awareness and challenge that a little bit. So in hands and knees, let's go through a mini cow pose, so arching the spine. But then from there, with your glutes, with the back of the pelvis, engage them and try pointing the tail just a little lower. So you're assisting on creating a super gentle posterior tilt so the lower back can be a little longer too. And then with each exhale, keep bringing the belly in up towards the spine. Okay, so lifting that belly up and keeping that tone. As we breathe in, expand a little bit on the belly, but mostly on the ribs. And as you exhale, at the end of the exhale, bring the belly in and lift, squeeze gently the pelvic floor, lifting it up. Okay, so that is the pattern of the breath through these movements. Now, as you keep that back nice and long, think of maybe opening the chest a little bit as we tend to be a little flexed here. Think of opening and elongating that thoracic spine. Extend your right leg with the right toes tucked under. And notice when you do that, if you're shifting to the left, don't. Come back to center. Squaring the chest still to the floor. And then let's lift the left hand up away from the floor, extending that arm overhead with the palm facing in. Think of reaching with your fingers and your heel in opposite directions as you keep the belly up towards the spine and this lower back pretty nice and long. And maybe then we can add another challenge, lifting that right foot. How high can you go? Maybe not at all, and that is perfectly fine of a place to be with the foot on the floor. But see if you can maybe lift the foot up and challenge keeping the lumbar spine long, the belly in as you reach. Take an inhale, exhale, bring the knee and hand to the floor. Now let's do the left. Extend the left leg, same, right? Are you leaning to the right? Come back to center. Straighten the leg all the way. So engaging all the muscles around the leg to create some stability. And then bring the right arm up. Reach away from your left foot. And then see if then you can keep the belly in and lift the left foot up. So the leg is lifting from leg extension, glute and hamstring, not from lumbar extension, lifting from arching the lumbar spine. So keep the belly in, elongate the lumbar spine, reach and lower. Now let's move slightly faster, but paying attention to all those details. The center of your body stays strong and stable. Your arms and legs are just reaching in opposite directions. The only thing that is moving. Inhaling as you reach. Exhaling as you return to the floor. Keep the hands open. Keep the arm that is on the floor extending, pushing the floor. Let's do one more on each side. Right leg, left arm. Left leg, right arm. Take an inhale and exhale, come into another brief child's pose. This time, as you're in child's pose, walk your hands towards the right side so you feel the left side opening and take a couple breaths. Come back to center and walk your hands to the left side. So do the same, a couple breaths, feeling the opening, the elongation on the right side of the torso, shoulder, outer hip. Great, and come back to center, back into hands and knees. Now a third and last challenge for in this position. Bring, when you're ready, the right hand up away from the floor, and we're going to place it behind the head. So do that a couple more times to feel like you're keeping your core strong, your leg strong, your left arm strong as you lift that arm. And basically, you're trying not to change your shape. You're still facing the floor with the torso relatively parallel, horizontal to the floor. The next time you bring the right hand behind the head and the right elbow pointing out, let's hold it there. And as you take the next inhale, push the floor strongly with the left arm and start lifting the right arm up by keeping the hips in the center. Exhale, go back to square. And inhaling, push the floor and lift that right elbow up. The hips stay on the center instead of letting them slide to the right. Come back to center. One more time. Inhaling, lift. And exhaling down. Now, one more time to lift. At this time, try extending the right arm and lifting, opening the chest. Exhale, bring the right arm to the floor as if we were reaching something under the bed, right? Bring the head down, bring that right shoulder to the floor. It might not reach and you might need to support it with a blanket or block. And then you can have the left hand right there. You can extend the left arm forward. You could even wrap it around your back. The hips may want to slide to the left now. See if you can stay relatively in the center and find the twist from the base of the spine. Right? It's a big twist, a big opening. Take a couple more breaths. If you need to come out of a shape, the shoulder is too much, the head has a kink, the hips don't like that, whatever it is, you can come into child's pose. Take another full breath. And then come back to hands and knees. Okay, now let's do the other side. Let's reset everything. You're parallel to the floor. Play with lifting the left hand and bring it down. So again, right, it's about paying attention. Our practice is listening to all the things, all the details, being present in the moment so you can catch anything that is working and also something that maybe is not working for you, right? So you know how your body is feeling. The next time you bring that left hand behind the head, push the floor strongly with the right arm and lift the left elbow up to the ceiling. It's a big twist. Exhale, square the chest down to the floor again. And two more times, lifting and re-squaring. Lift and square. Now, inhale, lift and extend the arm up. Open your wings. Deep breath in. And exhale, let's reach under the bed. So bring the outer shoulder to the floor, the left side of the head to the floor. If the hips are sliding to the right, bring them a little bit more back in. Keep the right hand there. Extend it forward. Bring it behind your back. Check that the head is comfortable. Use your breath to explore, staying in this pose for a little longer. Breathing and listening, feeling all the sensations. Full, deep, long inhale. Full, deep, long exhale. Nice. And bring the right hand to the floor. Bring the left hand to the floor. Back into hands and knees if you need. Well, actually, not if you need. Let's come into child's pose again. And this time, bring your palms together. So your hands are in a prayer position. Bend your elbows and bring the hands to the back of your head. Maybe you're able to walk your elbows a little bit more forward and you make your hips go a little more back. Maybe you notice the outer arms and the sides of the torso stretching. Taking a deep breath in and a deep exhale. And another one. And when you're ready, extend the arms again. And dragging your arms rounding the spine, let's slow come up and sit on the heels. Yes, so this could be it, your sequence of Hands and knees when you feel like you want to awaken your arms and awaken your core and do some turns and stretch your shoulders. From here, we're going to come to seated with the legs in front.